ready. We're about as ready as we're gonna be. Hi, welcome to a surprise stream. Today I am currently fixing a quick bug, but long run, what we have is we have a single level, and we'd like to load multiple levels. So, oops. Okay, there we go. So yeah, I'm reverting for a moment back to previous settings just so I can show you stuff. So this is what we had as of, yesterday. But I did mess up the timing because I shortened it. So somewhere around here, yes, had double the time where I should have had that much time. Yeah. In between streams, I fixed it so that it loads a lot faster. So that's nice. And I also updated it so that I can freely change the camera. I didn't finish updating that though because the arrow keys do not work as you'd expect. The arrow keys don't rotate with the camera. So if I press the up key, I go this way because that's how it originally went. I will fix that later. For now, I will just remember it. Somewhat convenient for following along, though. Anyway, point is, we have one level. One level loads. And that's all. And I would like... in fact, for a long time, I have wanted a better level loading system. So I figure as long as I rework levels to do this, let's take this chance to go and do multiple levels loading in a row. And ideally what I want is for them to load and unload based on where I am. Or I guess in this case the camera, but in the long run, once I add the character back in, or characters maybe, I don't know. Maybe them instead, but in any case, hopefully when we're done here today, we'll be at the point where it'll start unloading this level and load the new one over here by the time we're here. And when we move further, by the time that level's out of sight, it unloads, and this one loads, and levels in the future load. Anyway, so I did what was supposed to be a simple patch job of I load all the levels, and then I take the first one and say, actually display that one. Or I make a list of all the levels, and I take the first one and I say, load that one. And when I compile it, it crashes. And the reason it crashes is because it's converting the level data. This Run 1's level data is in a pretty old format. And so it's supposed to convert it, There's a bunch of code here, converts it to the new format. Hang on. What are the odds that we have that? I figured it out. Okay, this is due to differences between computers. Okay, that's better. Oh, nope. We're going to do... Okay, VS Code did not want me to convert it myself. It wanted to do the conversion itself. Okay, so anyway... oh yeah, another thing I did between streams is I made it so that you can just adjust the size. Right, yeah. It was not parsing the level data because it had CR/LF line endings. So up here I've are two types of line endings. Linux usually uses LF, and Windows usually uses CR/LF. So these are terms from the days of typewriters. CR is carriage return. So the thing on the typewriter that moves side to side, that's the carriage, and carriage return moves it back all the way to the left. Line feed moves the paper up so that the next line will start writing. And I guess, like, I think both of those were connected on most typewriters, but there was probably a way that you could set it up to only do one of them. So carriage return would move you straight down, like if you're typing here, and a a line feed would move you straight down, and you would start typing at the same spot. I digress, I realize that, but it's a little interesting. And alternatively, if you just did carriage return, that would go back to the start of the same line and type there. So the combination of both would actually start a new line in a typewriter. And for whatever reason, those ended up being characters in the ASCII set of characters, the default set that most text uses. And usually represented as \r for carriage return and \n for new line or line feed. And so this file was in CR/LF mode, which means that at the end of every line, never mind, VS Code doesn't display it, but at the end of every line is a \r/n. It's two characters indicating a single new line. And I was expecting only one character. I wrote some code. Think I can zoom in? Yeah, I can zoom in a little. I wrote some code expecting a single new line character, and I got two characters, and so there was this extra character, and it caused the level parser to break. Anyway, tangent over. Now that we've fixed that, we're back to loading a single thing. But if I want, I can go and just change the number. Add one to the number, and it will now load the next level, this one here. My timing must be slightly off. Oh, because this level is a different length. It's all based on the length of the level. Because it starts built, partially. Okay, yeah, let's skip ahead and load another level. A bright level. Okay, so yeah, now we have, I can recompile and load a specific level of my choice, which is not, honestly not really what I'm going for. I want to be able to load multiple of them. Oh, and I don't need to print out all that data every time. Yeah, I got sidetracked coding those other features. I was hoping to be a little farther ahead on this, but we are still going to work on it. So I think the next step is actually the next step is to copy some code and move that code to somewhere that makes more sense. Nothing new yet. But we're going to update this function. So we're going to update this function so that it loads multiple sections at once. And the problem with this is that it currently loads them on top of one another. So yeah, here we have level 2 and level 3 right on top of one another. Not really ideal. So the next big step is going to be figuring out where each one actually goes, and that means specifically giving each one its own coordinate, z coordinate, because the x and y coordinates are fine. It's the z coordinate that level 3 needs to be down here, needs to start down here. And so I think what I'm going to do is assign each of them a separate region. We're not going to worry about some other details right now, but for each region, we're going to start the tiles I'm going to store a this is a little verbose. So I've talked about this a little before, but in both 2D and 3D, there's this concept of parent-child relationships. And I'm bringing out Blender to demonstrate this. Let's say that we have a cube, and we have another cube. And that the second cube is, in fact, Blender even uses the term that if I go over here, and it's going to be small, but there is a little pop-up that says drop to set parent. So I'm going to set the second cube to have a parent of the first cube. And what that means is that this second cube, which is at, which is at a coordinate of 8 units. It's actually counting relative to the parent. Currently the parent is at 0, 0, 0, but if the parent moves, the child stays at 8, counting from the parent. So that's the use of this is that when we load a level, we're going to count from the parent, and so we can put all the tiles. We can start the tiles at 0, and then move the parent to where the whole thing needs to be. So level 2 needs to be some ways down. We do that, and we load everything inside level 2 just normally. Coordinate of 8, coordinate of 1 through 30, whatever. However many coordinates we need. And so the only thing we need to change is that we need to put the parent at the correct coordinate, which is what I'm going to try and do here. So we have, the parent is called a container. And our container is going to be just to be very simple, we're going to give them a spacing of 50. Is 50 times the level number. And it didn't work. That's because we're not using the new thing. But if we use the new information, it should work, hopefully. Okay, this is promising. There's nothing on screen because level 2 is a ways down. In theory. Oh, wait, no, no, that's not true either. We need to add it to... and I still forgot that important step. Okay. Add child is important when I want to establish a parent-child relationship. And now we see level 2 is here, 50 units down, and level 3 starts a little early, but I mean, I was just estimating. So level 2 is a little more than 50 units, so we need more than that. Let's do 60 tiles. And include level 1. Level 1, level 2, level 3. They all animate at the same time, which is not 100% perfect, but they animate. Right, to reiterate, this stream is about loading levels in sequence. Like, here's level 1. Before this stream, we could only load level 1. Now we can load levels 1, 2, 3, etc. But I do need to do something to, like, figure out their actual length. I mean, yeah, they loaded. And there should be collision. I should be able to drop a character in there and play. Of course, it will be difficult with the camera not following you, but before I do that, I want to tidy up the loading code a little bit. Sorry, I'm not sure what you mean by other tunnels. You mean branching tunnels? Or just different levels than the ones I've been showcasing here? Yeah. If you just mean ones further down the tunnel, the main problem with that is that they are going to be really far down, and we'll have to go for a while before they load. So that's another thing to worry about, you know, later. This whole thing is a start. think maybe at some point I need to just calculate the level length. Oh yeah, scrolling through levels is fun. I will do that at some point. The thing about calculating level length is it requires parsing perhaps a little more than I actually want to do. No, I don't want to do that. What I want to do is I'm going to go back to the previous code for a bit. So initially, we're just going to store data. Only when we start to load a thing do we make these regions. Oh wait, but we have this. Okay, we're going to do that. So only when the section is loaded do I want to give it a position. And actually, I already have some code to do most of this stuff. Get rid of that, get rid of that. All of that code I have elsewhere. So so that should about do it. Okay, in the long run, I'm going to want to do something else, but for now, we're going to do this the simple way. So we're not going to put it 60 units per level, like 60 times its level number, which means that if we do level 40, then it starts at 60 times 40 is 2,400 units down. Now, if we start at level 40, then well, 40 is going to be at 0. In fact, I will show you what that looks like. 40. And we're going to load 3 levels. So let's load level 40, 41, and 42. Level 40 is at 0. This is 0. So we can just see it right here. Level 41 is at 60. So 60 tiles down. We have this. I bet it's going to overlap. Yep, 42 starts here before 41 is done. 41 ends here. Again, that is because we're not counting level length. But still, yeah, that's... I think this is the basic idea of what I want to do. Oops, this level is so short that it just doesn't animate. Sheesh, I must have made that one much longer in run 3. Okay, at some point I will tweak the animations so that it's not a one-size-fits-all thing. But speaking of not doing one-size-fits-all, my next step is going to be to make them not overlap like this. There is a name for patterns like this, where two things are at exactly like the same coordinate, and depending on your camera angle you can see like these stripes, or they flash, or whatever. It's Z fighting, or Z index fighting. It's called Z fighting, and there is a Wikipedia article on it. There is literally a Wikipedia article on this. Because it happens in pretty much any 3D system that uses a Z buffer, or a depth buffer. Short version, these tiles are both equally close to the camera. The camera is supposed to draw whichever one is closer, and it's a little inconsistent which one comes first. So for every single pixel on screen, whichever one happens to be drawn first is the color that actually shows up, and that is semi-random, depending on the camera angle. So you get weird patterns. The tiles were not in exactly the same spots, this would not be happening. Anyway, we're going to fix that by making the tiles not be in exactly the same spots. We're going to do that by not doing 60 each time. We're going to... Okay, we don't need that open. We're going to wait for the loading to finish before... Like, I guess we'll leave that, but... Actually, no, we're going to make some plans for the future. So this is going to represent plan to load specific levels. So So I'm copying, copy the exact variables we had here. Into an object, which just means that we will keep these values for later. So I tell it load level 40 plus 3, or load 3 levels starting at 40, and it takes notes. Load that many levels. It's going to do it later. shows weird behavior. So I will get back to that. All this code, it's going to check. It's going to load one section, and then wait for that to fully load, and then look at how long that section is, and then load the next. We will also need to grab the information about which sections exist. Okay. And instead of looping through all of them, we're only going to load the first one. Actually, I guess we'll do that. Inserted an extra. Yep. Don't need that. It's not loading. Or it's loading at the wrong spot. Let's fix that. Okay, it's not loading. I kind of like the setup I have here, but the main problem is that it's possible for things to not like connect up. Aha. That's fine. Okay, we have... I'm sorry, I was pretty sure... Oh. Oh, right. That's why. Okay. We should now load a single level, and it should be level 40. Like that. Might have to do a special animation for this, because I think you could do something cool with the twisting pathway. Not that this isn't cool, but I think you could do something cooler. But that's not what I'm working on right now. So we currently have one level. The next step is that we don't. Okay. I'm adding some extra code here for loading levels in reverse order. But I should perhaps not worry about that yet. Might be a better way to do this. In fact, there is. Progress tracking in 2 directions. Simplified down to that. That's not even the important thing. It occurs to me that I don't know how to do this next step. I want to wait until the section is done loading, but based on where the information is, it's not convenient. I mean, I can jury rig it. I don't want to, but maybe to keep things moving, I'll just jury rig it. Or, no, okay. No, I don't have to. Section, I'm pretty sure that will cause an error. Yeah. But that may not. Okay, and also what's over here? Oh, okay. I think I'm not allowed to do that, so there we go. That was, I didn't need to compile then, I was just making information available. Okay, so what we're doing is we're waiting for on section loaded. Why do I have that copied? I copied too much data. Okay, so when the loading task is done, in fact, all tasks, because there are a couple, one for collision, one for visuals. But when a section is done, we're going to notify the we're going to notify this so that it can load the next one. VS Codium is VS Code except without tracking stuff. It's sort of like Chromium is to Chrome. But it's VS Code, it works exactly like VS Code. Just doesn't send as much data to Microsoft. That should not actually ever come up. But sometimes I add in error messages when necessary. Or when I don't think they're necessary. Okay, so all of that was kind of a roundabout way to pass data about different things. Currently I have everything but the tunnel disabled. I'm focusing on loading the tunnel. I commented out the skybox. I commented out the character. We're just focusing on this. This is what is called drying up the code. Dry stands for don't repeat yourself. I was about to type out the same thing twice, and so instead I made it into a variable. Okay, so with that, we're not quite done. I mean, I will show what's going to happen. What's going to happen is it won't compile because of something. That's what. Okay, a couple things as well. I keep forgetting if I need that, but apparently I do. Okay, that was it. What's going to happen is this is going to load, and then immediately on top of it... Wait, no, that's not true. Okay, we need to figure out which code is not running. Okay, so we're going to take a closer look at this. Okay, so we're going to take a look at this. Well, that's good to know. Do I need to do something fancy here? I bet I do. Oh wait, no, I don't. I'll cancel all that. Okay, it's just a matter of copying down data. Okay, so yes, you didn't see it because it doesn't load on screen, but there was a slight delay, and then all of these appeared, and they're on top of each other. And they're on top of each other because I commented out the line which put them 60 units apart, because I was going to do something with that. I was going to do something better, but I didn't yet. Whoa. Okay. Also, that one is very misleadingly named. If I put that back, oh, hey. Okay, so, I mean, I guess you can see in the... Oh, no. Okay, so it's not that they're not loading, it's that they're somewhere where they're not supposed to be. Okay, that's them being at 0. Okay, I'm confused. That should, at least one of them should be at 0. Minus? Oh. Oh, right. No, I was confused. There we are. So we have this. Yeah, we're back to them being a set number of units apart. We're back to having this. this overlap. But now each one waits for the previous one to load, and you can't actually tell because it all happens so quick. Loading is nice and quick. I even timed it earlier. Last stream it was taking 5 seconds or so. That was almost entirely the collision, and it was because I was loading the collision wrong. The collision would not even have worked. And if I had been loading the collision right, which I am now, I'm pretty sure, I haven't actually tested it, but if I was loading the collision better, it would have loaded in milliseconds instead of seconds. I think latest test is a collision takes about 5 milliseconds, and a level, like the visuals, take about 50 milliseconds. So that's like 1 to 2 frames, a little under 2 frames of time. It's not perfect, but it's not bad, given that the whole level is loaded, and you don't need to load multiple levels per frame, usually. Yeah, a lot of this is designed to make sense to me, but I could probably explain it better than I'm doing, and maybe at some time I will set aside a stream for that, but right now I'm just trying to work as fast as I can, and that may mean not explaining it fully. In fact, I do plan to explain more of this, but just not right now. Okay, so we're so this plan that this bit of code that tracks information about which level we're first loading, how many levels we're loading, and how many have been loaded so far. We're also going to track code about how long each level is, because that's the whole point of this exercise, that level 40 is that long, and level 41 is shorter. And then level 42 is that long. So it's not even accurate, though, because wasn't level 41 the longest of the bunch? Oh, wait. Index 40 corresponds to level 39? Ugh. The fact that these are one-indexed. Okay, so no, it corresponds to level 41. So our first level is the short one, our second level is the medium one, and our third level is really long. Okay, so we're... Yeah, I've been telling you level 40 this whole time. It's actually been level 41. Why am I doing a Wednesday stream? Well, I've been missing streams lately, and the main reason I've been missing streams is I've been trying to get to a point where I can do a lot of cool things in quick succession. I think I'm about at that point. And so I'm going to be streaming extra times this week. because I can. I finally can. Okay, I say cool things. Loading multiple levels is probably less cool, but it's important. Right, so I was going to put some more data in here. Okay, we're going to write some functions. No. I'm spending a bunch of time worrying about variable names. I mean, I have, like, all year been spending a lot of extra time just thinking about what to name things, where to put it. Someone mentioned earlier that the thing about how I have however many thousand lines of code, even I don't know, and I always know where to look for stuff. And part of that is because I spend a lot of time trying to figure out the exact perfect place to put it so that I could easily remember it. It would be intuitive, at least to me. Hopefully, hopefully to me plus 1 year or me plus 5 years, when I don't remember it so well, and or to well, I guess you've been looking at it and it's not immediately obvious, but I don't know who trademarked the word, the term "cool things," but or "cool thing," but I always write it with the trademark symbol just in case. Right, so we were going to calculate that's a variable name that I'm not entirely happy with, but we gotta keep moving. I mean, I do comments in various in various places, but yeah, the code I've been looking at so far has not had a whole lot of comments. except here. I put in comments where I think there's more likely to be confusion, and I do try to, in fact, I have a scheme set up that, in the long run, here we'll get a good size comment, and okay, this has comments, but yeah, a lot of things don't need comments because they. Oh, this needs a comment, but. Oh, if you want to see a long comment, or a bunch of comments, this is pretty well commented. And I revised those comments multiple times because this is going to be like a fundamental feature. And so I wanted the comments to be all right, but yeah. Tonight, I'm not writing comments, or I'm writing very few comments. But I will have to come back and do those because they are indeed important. Right, I'm sorry. I was in here. Yep. Anyway, I think LLA used a Flash decompiler, which. But I don't think she was viewing the source code. That was obfuscated, and to my knowledge, no one has broken the obfuscation yet. I think she was mostly looking at assets, kind of like Hagasso. Yeah, I don't recall too many details. Images, assets being images, models, sounds. I guess I didn't use so many 3D models back then, but yeah, those are largely unprotected because it's really just a lot easier to obfuscate the code than the assets. Yeah, I mean, in JavaScript, there's only so much you can do to obfuscate JavaScript code because for it to run in the browser, it's visible in the browser, and there is. It's relatively easy. Um, Yeah. Oh, yeah. Assets also include text files such as lists of levels. So this adventure levels.txt, it's in the assets folder. It's a text asset. It was actually not that in Run 1, and that actually made it harder to recover. Because it wasn't a text file, I had to open up the flash file, which means I had to go to the other computer, which is how I got CRLF line endings anyway. That was, for those of you who missed it, that was a thing I discussed earlier. The level wouldn't load because there was an invisible character at the end of each line that was not expected. And that character was there because I got this file from Windows because I had to get it the hard way. Yeah, it's just much easier for me to store this sort of thing in the assets. Anyway, okay, so this does warrant a comment. Okay, so there's a comment. I lied, I did add a comment tonight. But yeah, I sort of make judgments about is this complicated or weird enough that I won't be able to figure it out quickly next time. Or I might think that I'd made a mistake. Anything like that needs a comment. Okay, so we're going to use the getLevelZ function to oh no, we're not done. I mean, yeah, if the Pastafarian wants to go to the way onwards, she will probably have a much easier time of it. Partially because they already built like a bunch of stepping stones, and partially because she has an advantage on these sorts of things. Yeah, the levels that come after the box minigame. I mean, it made sense to me when I read the comment that to call it the way onwards, but no, the angel named the stuff about the way home, whereas the runner's naming the stuff about, that leads onwards. But it would be too convenient if two people, without coordinating, just chose the same naming system. Anyway, I am getting distracted again. What I want is we're storing the data in a different way. So extra code to make the code less confusing. I think it's worth it. To make the code like okay, so okay, hopefully that's the last time I have to touch that particular bit of code. Okay, what am I missing here? That's what. What else am I missing here? Right. Okay. So yeah, we're going to need to add that information. So our so somewhere over here, once we I'm looking at the wrong code. I don't always know the right code to look at. Oh, okay, no, I did know the right code to look at. I just file names are a little similar. So somewhere around. Wait a minute, I don't need to go through quite this much trouble. I can short circuit this. The real question is, do the things happen in order? They do, okay. Wait, but... Oh, yeah, yep. So yeah, currently I am just passing a bunch of data around so that I can get at it when I need to get at it. Wait a minute. What am I doing? I may have to rethink this later, but for now, we're going to do that. No, we don't need that. Almost done. Okay, with that, we can fail to compile. There we are. And we can fail to compile again for another reason. Okay. This is what we call an off by one error. It's almost exact, but it's off by, well, 1. And so we should expect there to be one tile of overlap around here too, wherever the... Yes! We have one tile of overlap. Okay, so... first we're gonna just try rounding up. Does that fix it? Does not. Okay, then we add 1. So we have exactly joined them. That's not actually final, but where one ends, the next begins. So now that we've done that, spent a lot of time on that, it's time to spend a lot of time coding something else. This time, what I want the level to wait to like come together until the camera's there. Like currently, it's I'm actually, this is a separate thing, but I still need the information that I just spent all this time gathering. So we're going to store it in a different way. Over here. No, it's not that simple. Because, well, I mean, I could do it, like, I could do a delay. But, that won't work once boxes are added. When there's a box, you can actually stop moving. And if I want it to only assemble itself when you arrive, like, that's the long run goal, then it needs to stop if you stop, and then start back up when you start back up. And so no, it's a little more complicated than that. That said, we're not doing the complicated thing now, we're doing a simpler one now. So somewhere over here, no, somewhere over here. Sheesh, where does it count? I have a couple ideas on where to put this. I think I want to do that. So I don't need that. Oh wait, but I do. Okay, should be good with that. The main thing is, does everything work correctly? I think it does. No, it doesn't. Oh. We're going to put that there instead. Okay, so using this information that has been calculated, we want... So 5,000 is worth about 50 tiles. So I think we want... what should I put? Okay, so right now, our goal is... Oh. I should... Oh, whatever. Okay, the space bar is now just going to always restart. Always restart the animation. And then we can see what's actually going on. So... Okay, I may have lied. The spacebar is not going to restart the animation ever. Okay, now it should work. I can restart it mid-thing. Okay, so currently what we have is the first set of tiles are always in place, regardless of the length of the level. You can see how predictable the animation actually is when I do it like that. Okay, but that's not bad overall. And we just want I am repeating myself here. See, I have to type it in twice whenever I want to change it. But if I make it a variable, then I only have to change it once. So we're going to... Oh, really? Forgot that. So now the first tile moves a bit into place. If we give it a bit more time, I think that's, so 500 milliseconds. Give it another half second to move into place. I think what we need is actually a significant amount of extra time. So give the level 2 entire seconds. Give the level 2 entire seconds before the first tile snaps into place. And actually, I should not be adding this +1. We're going to comment this code because the two pieces of the equation have different meanings. The animation is for looking cool. I think it looks cool. I think other people have said it looks cool. Okay, so with 2 seconds extra time, it starts way out in space, almost too far to see. And then things arrive. Actually, it's not that far out, that first tile. Actually, that was the second tile. But in any case, we gave it some extra time. I mean, I stated in an earlier stream that This is... I'm planning to use this mostly for non-canon things, such as potentially infinite mode. Okay, so we've given it some time. Now what we want to do... we want something that will move the tiles in response to, well, something else. Don't know quite what to call this. We're just going to do that for now. Okay, so so we want to take... we want to start by getting a direct control, direct mapping of the... I want to input a value that this section is 50% built, and then I want to move the animation, update the animation so that 50% of the tiles are in place. 50% by length. We need a... We are going to need to copy down I am very much going to need to rethink how I'm writing this class, but animator. There we go. Okay, this is all... I'm losing track of it a bit. And perhaps I need to restructure some code in that case, but not here, not now. We do, okay. Another feature I haven't had time to implement. So I will leave myself a note. Level animation. So it's not going to import that, is it? What did I just searched for? Okay, almost ready to test. What we will have this time is keyboard control over the fraction. Once we load. Okay, so currently it's stopped. And if I do a minus, it doesn't work. Okay, I kind of have it backwards, but yeah, I have it set so that I can just directly control the timeline. And actually, I should make this smaller because it shows what fraction of the timeline we have here. And yes, it is. Yeah, the thing is, it's backwards. We're currently at time is 0, and when we go to time is 1, we're over here. And so it's somewhere around 0.8 where the first tiles arrive here. So I want to do an adjustment where 0 is this and 1 is this. So 1 being 100% makes it look like this, that. And 0 being 0% makes it look like this. And then we can actually go beyond 0 to make the level dissipate even further. And I want this because then I can use some more math to say the camera is now about 40% through the level. Okay, we're going to adjust the timer to be about 40%. Well, actually, no, we're going to do 50% so it's ahead of the camera. But that's the idea, at least. So, so first we're going to allow it to go beyond 0. Second, we're going to turn it around because it's backwards and we need to fix that. And third, man, the code completion not working so well. Third, we're going to factor excess time into account. So, if I have done my work properly, we should currently be at 0. And as you can see, the first tile is just about in place, whereas nothing else is. And now if we add some, we're now at 0.1, that's 10%. 0.33 is a full third of the level. Now let's zoom out. Third of the level, about half the level, up to all of the level. And then we can back it up down to 5%. We're actually at -% here. I don't need to do this much work. Okay, I can do it simpler. You don't need to track a thing called excess time at all. rid of all that. We can get rid of that. We can get rid of that. We can get rid of that. And I think that's all we needed. Just get rid of a bunch of stuff and it will still work. So 0, meaning one tile is in place. And we can advance it. We're at about a quarter of the way, over halfway, most of the way. Very, very close to all the way, but there's still like 3 tiles out of place, and then all the way. But yeah, the key is that we go below 0% of the level is built, which means we're that far away from just when the first one comes into place. And I arbitrarily set this as the limit. Yeah, at some point I will adjust that limit, but not now. So the next step that I want to do is I want to no longer need to trace any of that. In fact, probably don't need any of that. I want a I don't even know what to call it. I want to be able to declare that the camera or the character or something, probably eventually going to be the character, but we'll see. But some object is to serve as the percent of the level. So how far through the level that object is the current percent. So what to call it? I'm going to call it a requirement. And this would receive some good, a decent amount of commenting, but yeah, I'm already thinking of several ways I could restructure this code, but I'm not doing that now. So I spell it correctly. No, that's not it. We need information about the region and the length. Where's okay, so from this, we can do some math and figure out that it's not quite. Yeah, we're just gonna. First, we need to calculate. We have a target. A target object is either going to be the camera or the character. We need to calculate where that is within the section. So we are going to grab that information and there we are. So we copy that. So first we convert from camera space to world space, and then we convert from world space to the space within the section. The thing I discussed earlier, where going back into Blender. So again, cube. One cube is parented to the other cube. This cube is sort of the section space. The section could start at 0, 0, 0, could start at not 0, 0, 0. And this cube is at is 8 units removed from wherever the section is. And so, like, the section is going to be this section is going to be 42 units long, so from point A to point B. And we have a camera. We have a camera over here or something. Somewhere in the section. I don't know, maybe looking vaguely in the direction of the section. Yeah, we have a camera pointed ahead, somewhere around, I don't know, is that 40% of the way through? Actually, we're gonna do that. So we have the camera's coordinates. We've got this coordinate of 44, but that's not its position in the section. Its position in the section, you've got to subtract 30 from 44. Or maybe something more complicated. Like, what if we have a section that's going in a different direction, a section off to the side, and it's aimed that way? Now the camera is somewhere in there, and we need to convert between these coordinates of the camera and the coordinates within the section. And how do I view local? I don't know. In any case, this conversion, like, there are functions for it. The point is that when the conversion is done, I don't know. It should be calculating it. Anyway, when the conversion is done, oh, there we are. Okay, right? No, it's not even that. When the conversion is done, we will be able to find out that this is like 14 units down the tunnel. And once we know that it's 14 units down the tunnel, we can divide that by 42 and find out what fraction of the way it is down the tunnel. Not quite sure why Blender isn't cooperating, but it's not, and I want to stop explaining and start doing. So, So, don't worry too much about the code. This code just says move it, find the point that as if it was within the coordinate space. Done the calculations, found the thing. And with that information, we can calculate where in the animation we should be, what percent of the way through the animation we should be. We don't need this at all. We literally just need a float value. And then we can delete a bunch of old code. And somewhere over here. No, not over there. There. And there are a couple other things I was missing. I deleted a thing that I shouldn't. Oh, wait. I failed to copy a thing that I needed to copy. Okay. Alright, because we're moving this all to one function, it needs to be a big function. Oh, I wanted to import them. I think that should help. Nope, nope. We're not done yet. Oh, it's back to animating normally because I did forget that we're I did forget to set up the camera as the thing that controls the build, the assembly process. I think we're going to go all the way back. Wow, that was a big autocorrect. We need to pass that down from one to the next. That might do it. Nope. So if it sees the camera, we will get a message, and if it doesn't, it does not see the camera. Oh, right, because of the order that things happen in. Okay, we're going to do that. And it's still not enough. But why? Debugging. Please bear with me. Yeah. I'm planning to make a tool for this, but I haven't made it yet. Okay, that's good to know. Oh, that's why. Wow, that was messy. And here we are. Success. So now the buttons do not work. But if I move forward, we find that the tile right under the camera is always built. Exactly where the camera is. Which is not quite what we want. What we actually want is for it to build some distance ahead. Let's say 4 tiles ahead. Oh, it vanishes because it thinks it's off screen. That did not change a thing. It's not 4 tiles ahead. And why not? I think why not is that I didn't take into account the whole thing with... I didn't add that. Okay, that should do it. So now 4 tiles ahead of the camera. The tiles snap into place. The transition between levels is perfect, and 4 is not enough, so we're going to adjust that and then take another look. We're going to double it to 8. That said, this is not how it ought to look in game. There is definitely, like, if you hit a box and you stop, it needs to keep going, but not forever. You should be able to catch back up. But it does always need to be in motion. It should not do this. It should not go slow to a stop. And also, it should probably not disassemble quite like this. But it's fun to watch. Let's see if it can handle a bunch more levels at once. Because I do think this is closing in on a stopping point. Unless there's a color shift, you can't tell where the levels end and begin. Actually, before I go too far here, this is nowhere near enough either. It really does need to give you enough space. Like, if this is actually going to be in the game, it needs to give you plenty of time to see where you're actually going. What's ahead. I'm still not sure that's enough. Like, I want the animation, but gotta be able to see the level too. I didn't set up the camera to rotate the way it's supposed to. I only set it up to rotate like this, but not around. color change. I could see playing like this. Be pretty cool, I think. So there's this one tile there that doesn't move. Well, no, it might move, but just a tiny bit. I don't think that's a bug. I think that might just be a very extreme randomness thing. Like, the tiles, how far they go is random, some random distance greater than 0, but then they move randomly from that distance. And like there's a randomness that can be in any direction added to that. So maybe that one was just it got a very close by distance, and then like it was going to be this far out at like 1 second of movement, but then instead it randomly got pushed back to the point in the tunnel, and so it doesn't appear to move, like it barely appears to move at all. Anyway, I will remove that possibility before like this makes it to release, or maybe I won't. But it's probably fine to just have one sitting there. Call it an Easter egg. Completely intentional Easter egg. Probably going to have to make a setting for how far ahead it needs to assemble, because some people will just, they don't want to see the animation, they just want to play and get plenty of warning before, you know, before they have to jump. Crumbling tiles. Crumbling tiles are not here because I am using Run 1's level set. I'm using the levels from Run 1. You might recall that this thing does not appear in Run 3. Look at the color change here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 platforms, that is an entire level. That was in Run 1 and does not currently exist. Or no longer exists in the sequel. That said, I could load in Run 3's levels. Okay, I guess I'm not quite done with the stream yet. I'm going to have to see how this looks. I'm kind of glad this level doesn't exist anymore in Run 3. A couple of those were hard on the eyes. Kind of makes me want to, like, change the color to make them less hard on the eyes. These levels I recognize. We spent a lot of time staring at them just recently. Actually, I think I know what I might do. I might reduce the randomness so that you can see more patterns in the tiles as they arrive, and that gives you more warning about where and when you will have to jump. And there will still be an option to push the animation farther ahead if you just if you don't care to deal with it. So I was going to go grab these and that. And it's not going to compile, is it? Nope. Not found. It was. Okay. Oh dear. It was not as easy as I had hoped. Okay, so somewhere over here there is some missing stuff. We're going to do that. There are some broken tiles. They will be replaced by normal tiles. Oops, you see some more Z fighting there. That's because the ones that are supposed to be a wall are not a wall. They are not standing up. Oh, right. The other thing I was going to do is somewhere in here we have this. And we reduce the randomness. Yeah, that's gonna need some level transitions. I think maybe they're too far out. Yeah. This seems a little better. Though actually, these are the levels that won't be getting this treatment. I should have grabbed the infinite mode levels. Okay, there's this. Can't really tell if it's moving. But I am going to watch the next few levels get built from outside. Because overall, that's a cool effect. Okay. Yeah, I think some pieces just move less because it's random. These crumbling tiles are, of course, not set up to crumble. The only animation they have is this one that... I mean, they could crumble along with the rest of the tunnel, but that's not quite the idea. It's occurring to me that all of these are blue. Why are they all blue? Is that the default color? Are they not? Do they not have a color? I bet it's the default color. And the color isn't being loaded. Okay, well, whatever. We're gonna look at the levels as if they were all blue. Just a reminder that this is not canon. And yeah, we're still only looking at 50 levels. So still thinking of more things to try. Okay, I need to go back to that to make sure we're I made the change in the right direction. Whoa, it's laggy. Why is it lagging all of a sudden? Okay, good. So I think I got that right. And what I'm doing here is saying that each tile can arrive up to as many as 5, a little ahead of schedule by up to 5 tiles. And so that means that instead of always being exactly as far ahead, and as long as we're doing that, we can subtract about 5 from this. Makes it feel a little more organic in how they arrive. And you can, and I think I did see it, you can have tiles that are further ahead arriving before those that are further behind. But they do all arrive by the specified time. They're guaranteed to arrive by then. I don't know, I kind of want to add even more randomness. It's up to 8, but that's less likely now. It's a subtle change, but I really do think it helps. And yeah, you can see it. Look at the top up here. This tile moving into place, and then the ones behind it all fill in. But I adjusted the randomness so that only a few tiles arrive that earlier, and most of them arrive closer to the normal time. But yeah, even just having a few tiles arrive early means that you can get a better sense of where things are going to be. Yeah, happens again there. That four tiles arrive almost at once, and then the tiles behind them all fill in. But yeah, you can start to see shapes form before most of the tiles arrive. Let's even add some more. Maximum is now going to be 12, but again, less likely. So yeah, these tiles that arrive and then stuff fills in. I like that effect. Like, it's just a lone tile and then tiles come into. Yeah, this is all just very cool. Okay, let's speed ahead and get to some of the later levels. If I'm actually going to slow down for this part because it is hard on the eyes. Okay, I'm going to go out here for these bright colored parts. I mean, if you have issues with eye strain or similar, you probably already know better than to watch my streams, but doesn't mean you like stuff that's hard on the eyes. Oh man, we gotta get a bit of an angle to... Okay, I'm sorry, that is a lot of tiles that are... Oh! Oh, the reason they're doing that is because it's such a short level, and being such a short level breaks the animation system. That was an issue that I was aware of and was going to fix in a totally different stream. But yeah, the fact that it's a short level means that they don't actually spread very far out before stopping. No, I do need to push it further away of this level. And yeah, the checkerboard parts of this level could... Like, the idea was part of the challenge of this level was just gonna be picking out the areas you can stand on from the ones that are hard to stand on. Like, I mean, you can cheese this level by, you know, just walking the seam here. You can just walk the seam all the way down the level. But it was still a little harder. But no, I'm going to... Yeah, stuff like this... Now that I've had time to think about it and realize, hey, eye strain might be a problem. Maybe it's that I'm getting older, but yeah, I want to adjust the colors so that they're more pleasant. This too. level link thing again. Oh no, they didn't. I could have sworn I saw some tiles that were stuck on... Oh yeah, there is one. Yeah, these two down here are stuck. Just on account of the animation system stops at a certain point. And yeah, I need to adjust that. But mostly it's the short levels. Level 50 was never a long level. Based on Run 1's physics, it was not easy. Currently, all 50 levels are loaded. They're all there. I did not yet get to the point where I unload them when they're not needed. But yeah, that was a lot of progress. At the beginning of the stream, this whole system was capable of loading one level. And now it's capable of loading 50 levels. So we have successfully loaded more levels. And done cool animations and stuff. But yeah, I'm going to call that a success. And I will see you all later.